So this is our app. We can write our investment inquiries. There are two different agents. One is specialized in stock market. The other one is specialized in crypto market. When we are talking to this app, we are talking to the stock market agent, but it knows about the crypto agent, that it exists, and it can hand off the request to it. So when we ask something about the stock market, it will answer us. When we ask something about the crypto market, it will hand off the request to the crypto advisor, and then that agent would handle our request. So let's ask our first question, maybe about the stock market. I'm gonna ask how Apple is performing financially. Okay, our answer is ready. Perfect. Hey everyone, Nariman here. Welcome to my channel. Today we want to discuss the swarm architecture for multi-agent systems. If you watched my previous video, you saw that I'm starting to explore different multi-agent architectures. And in that video, I showed you how you can leverage supervisor architecture. In supervisor architecture, there is always one supervisor agent that is in charge to communicate with the user and then hand off different requests to the other agents. I will put the link of that video up there so you can also have a look if you want. But in swarm architecture that we want to discuss today, things are a little bit different. There is no supervisor agent. You just have a bunch of agents with different prompts, and they have their own set of tools, and each of them are expert in their own field. But here, instead of just communicating with the supervisor, they know about each other and they can communicate with themselves. And also they can communicate with the user. So that's how it works. The user will come and talks with one of these agents. You can specify one of them as the default agent. Then if the agent has all the tools and the information to answer the user's request, it will do it. If not, it will hand off the request to the other agent that thinks it's the best one to handle that request. I will show you how this works with a very simple example. Let's say we want to create a multi-agent investment advisor. This advisor is specialized in cryptocurrency and also stock market. So we will implement two different agents. One that is expert in cryptocurrency and the other who's expert in stock market. Then we will define a swarm architecture. One of them will be the default agent, and when the user asks some questions about the stock or about the cryptocurrency, the default agent will get the request. Let's say our default agent is the stock market agent. If the request is about a stock market, it will answer the question itself. But if not, it will hand off the request to the cryptocurrency agent. And from there, the cryptocurrency agent would take care of that request. To implement this, I'm going to use LangGraph and especially the LangGraph swarm library, which is going to help us to implement a swarm architecture quite easily. Also some other LangChain libraries to help us, LangChain Core, LangChain Community, and of course LangChain Ollama to help us to communicate with the Ollama's LLM models. I will use CoinGecko to get cryptocurrency information like the price history or market cap information. I will use Yahoo Finance to get all the information regarding the stock market, things like financial reports, also price history. And at the end, I'm going to use a Streamlit to create a very simple UI to interact with our multi-agent investment advisor. To prepare our environment to start coding and running the project, we need to go to the terminal. Notice that I'm already in the directory of my project. I'm gonna say pip install -r and then requirements.txt, and then I'm gonna hit enter, and this will install all the dependencies that I mentioned before. And then one last thing is that you need to make sure that you already installed Ollama, because we are going to use Ollama's LLM models. And then you will need to pull the model that you are going to use. I'm going to use Qwen 3 and the one with 8B parameters. So you need to run this command to pull that model. I already did that, so I don't need to run it right now. So let's go back to the IDE because we are already set to start coding. I have a Python file here, which I already put a skeleton of our project. As I mentioned, I'm gonna use Qwen 3, so I defined the model. I set the temperature to a very low value because I don't want my model to get creative. I'm just gonna give it some data for some stock or for some cryptocurrency, and I want some simple analysis out of it. And then I have two very long and descriptive prompts, one for my stock advisor agent and one for my crypto advisor agent. This is just very basic stuff. It's saying that you have this role, you need to use the provided tools, some information about the input of the tools, what is expected from you, how to analyze the stock, and if it's about cryptocurrencies, you need to use the handoff tool to hand it off to the other agent. And at the end, some stuff, so stop hallucinating, like use only the data, do not add disclaimers. So yeah, that's it. And it will be also the same for the crypto advisor. You have this tool and it takes this kind of input and how to analyze the coin. And if it's about the stocks, just hand it off to the stock advisor. And then I already wrote the method to fetch the stock info and fetch the cryptocurrency info because it takes lots of time and I didn't want to take 15 minutes of this video just describing how to work with Binance or with CoinGecko. I already have some videos that I showed in detail how to work with Binance API and also with CoinGecko API. I'm gonna put the URLs up here, so if you are interested you can go back and watch them. But overall, I'm just, for stocks, I'm gonna fetch annual reports and some information about the price, like what was the mean price over the last year, what was the maximum price, what is the average price, and what is the current price. By my experience, if you try to give all the price history of the last year to the LLM, since it's lots of information, it will confuse the model and it will hallucinate. So based on experience, I just decided to keep it very concise for our showcase. But of course, if you want to extend this code, you can add many other data to it. But for our showcase, this should be enough. Same is happening for the fetch coin info. I'm gonna use CoinGecko API and then some information about what this coin is for, like what is this, the use case of this coin, how it is gonna be used, what is the market cap and what is the market cap rank, because these are very important metrics when we are analyzing cryptocurrencies. And again, minimum price, maximum price, average price, and current price are the other informations that I'm gonna pass to our model. These doc strings are also very important. It will help the model to understand the tool better and how to use it. And yeah, that's it. I guess we can start coding and I will explain the rest to you while we are writing the code. So what I need is that I have two different prompts and two different tools. Now I need to create two different agents, one for analyzing the stocks using that prompt and tool, and one for crypto analysis. So we are going to use create React agent from LangGraph. I guess we need to go ahead and import this one from LangGraph pre-built port create React agent. So of course, first we're gonna give it our model, which is Qwen 3, and then maybe it's a set of tools that we are gonna use. So the tool is gonna be fetch stock info, and then we are also gonna create another tool which is called the handoff tool. The handoff tool is just gonna give information about the other agent that exists, so the current agent knows when to hand off the request to the other one. So I'm gonna use create handoff tool method, which should be in the LangGraph swarm library from LangGraph swarm import create handoff tool. So the other one is called crypto advisor. Let's call it crypto advisor. And let's also add a description. This should be probably agent name. This description would help the LLM to know more about the other agent and when to hand off the request to it. I'm gonna say use this tool. Actually, let's see what is the suggestion. Use this tool to transfer the query to the crypto advisor agent. Let's say maybe any queries about the cryptocurrency. I'm gonna say like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, etc. So you have a bunch of tools. Let me break it down here so you can see better. So this description is saying that use this tool to transfer any queries about the cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, etc. Last thing is just giving our current agent a name, maybe just stock advisor, and then I'm gonna use this also as the name of the variable, and that would be our stock advisor agent. Then I'm gonna go ahead and create our crypto advisor agent. The name would be crypto advisor. It's gonna use fetch coin info tool, and the handoff tool is about a stock advisor. So it needs to know about the stock advisor, and I'm gonna say use this tool to transfer any queries about the stocks, and then I'm gonna say like Apple, Tesla, Microsoft, etc. So yeah, that should be a good description, so it knows when to hand off the request to the stock advisor. Now, as you can see, we have two different agents with two different sets of tools and prompts, so they are expert in different areas. Now all we need to do is to create a swarm. So I'm gonna go ahead and update the imports to use create swarm. I'm gonna use create swarm here. And here you need to specify the agent. I'm gonna say stock advisor and crypto advisor, and then you also need to say which one is the default agent. So I'm gonna say the stock advisor. It should be string. Yeah. So this is the definition of our swarm. I'm gonna call this workflow. And if we compile this, we're gonna get on our app. And this is the app that we are gonna interact with to send message to and then get response from it. I'm gonna use a Streamlit to create a UI so we can see what we've built. I'm gonna say we are gonna get users query as a text input. I'm gonna say enter your investment inquiry. Then this should be user's query, and then if query exists, I need to invoke the app. Let's use the suggestion because it looks all right. Let me see. Okay, so we are gonna invoke the app with the role of user. That's correct, and the content should be the user's query. This we can also keep. It's a good log. I will show you later that like how the handoffs are happening. This pretty print for the message in LangGraph is a very nice debugging tool. But what we need to show to the user is the last message, that everything is ready now, all the handoffs happened, all the thinking happened. So we are gonna just use the last message to show it to the user as the result. And this you also saw before. I wrote a clean text method to remove the think tag. These reasoning models share with you all the thinking process. So I wrote a simple regular expression to remove all the think tags from the response because I don't need to show that to the user. It's very simple Python code. I will just change this to Markdown maybe instead of write, because usually the models give you the response in the Markdown format. It's better to keep it that way. And with that being said, I guess we are ready to show you how this thing is working. So let's go to the terminal and run it and see if there is any error or not. I'm gonna go and say Streamlit run, then let's go and find our Python file. And let's run it. You can see in your browser that now we have a very simple UI. So this is our app. We can write our investment inquiries. There are two different agents. One is specialized in stock market. The other one is specialized in crypto market. When we are talking to this app, we are talking to the stock market agent, but it knows about the crypto agent, that it exists, and it can hand off the request to it. So when we ask something about the stock market, it will answer us. When we ask something about the crypto market, it will hand off the request to the crypto advisor, and then that agent would handle our request. So let's ask our first question, maybe about the stock market. I'm gonna ask how Apple is performing financially. So let's just send this question. This is more about the financial reports, but overall, like, we are asking, should I invest in Apple, how it is doing financially? And now we expect that our stock market agent goes and fetch all the information for Apple stock from Yahoo Finance and then answer our question. Okay, our answer is ready. Perfect. It didn't also take very long. It's saying that Apple's financial performance is like this. 2024 total revenue and net income was around 400 billion and 94 billion. There is also information from 2023 and 2022, and then it's correctly identifying the trends in the revenue. It's saying that it's declined from 2022, also about the net income, and then it reached a conclusion based on all of these metrics, which is like there is mixed market sentiment about the Apple stock right now, which is true. So perfect, it answered our question. And now the fun part is to ask something about the crypto market to see if the handoff would happen and what would be the answer. Okay, so I also asked, is Bitcoin a good investment? And you can see here that it answered me, but it took lots of time for it to give me an answer. I will probably cut the video where I was waiting, but it took something like 3-4 minutes for me to answer, because I guess these all figuring out how to hand it off to another agent, and then the agent call the tools and get the information and then reason to give you the answer. All of them running locally on your laptop takes lots of resources. So that was probably the reason. You can see the answer. It's saying that Bitcoin has high volatility, limited supply, of course, but it has a market dominance. There are some risks about regulatory, and it's perfectly dividing the potential rewards and potential risk for Bitcoin. And as a conclusion, it's saying it's a good investment, but for people who has high risk tolerance. So our investment advisor is working perfectly in this swarm architecture. And one last thing that I want to show you is these logs, how these hands-offs are happening. Let's go back to the terminal. If we go a little bit up top, yeah, you can see that the stock advisor received our Bitcoin inquiry and then figured out that it needs to transfer it to the crypto advisor. That's how swarm architecture would work. And then after the request is transferred to crypto advisor, you can see that it figured out that it needs to call the fetch coin info tool. It called it, it got all these information, the description about Bitcoin, the market cap rank, and also mean and max price. Then it successfully gave us a very long and descriptive answer about Bitcoin's potential risks and rewards. So yeah, that was perfect. And now you also know how it's working under the hood with all these very good logs that LangGraph is providing you with, all those pretty print messages that we put in our code. It's very good for debugging. So yeah, that was it. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please like it and also subscribe to my channel for more content like this. See you around.